All right, guys, welcome back to the 21 convention. We have our next speaker is the only speaker that will be speaking twice at this event this year. Even though he believes that computers are going out of style, he will be teaching you an online game and how to use your computer to pick up women. Here's the man himself, Bravo. Welcome, man.
Thank you. Thank you. All right. So yesterday, when I spoke last time, it was about self-defense and tactical training, and I mentioned that I was into firearms training, tactical training, all that stuff before I got into pickup. What a lot of people don't know is I was actually married when I was 23 years old. We had a house, 2 cars, all that stuff. And actually after a miscarriage, things started going downhill. I really wanted things to work out. She didn't. She wanted to call it quits. So after less than a year, we had to get divorced. And one of the worst parts of getting married and like less than a year later getting divorced is you have all these gifts and all this family that came out and saw you. And you feel so horrible because they spent all this money. Like I was like, do I give gifts back? I didn't know what to do. It was fucking heartbreaking. Luckily, though, the housing bubble was at the perfect time. So we sold our house. We made like $100,000. Split it. Worked out well for us. She ended up buying another house afterwards, got hosed. I read it. I knew. Anyways, I don't get joy out of that, though. So anyways, I don't. That'd be petty. So I really don't. I wish she's well. But anyways, so I started out on this, and a lot of guys, it really bugs me when guys say, oh, I'm a natural, and I got into this stuff, and I knew what to do. Because I didn't, especially when I was divorced. I was crushed. My spinal cord had been like compressed down. I felt like not like a man anymore. I'd let myself go to, and I erased all those files from my brain of how to talk to girls, because I didn't want to have to deal with that anymore. And one of the things, too, I wanted to also improve in my life was I didn't want to be to the point where I had to settle for a girl. Like, I remember when I got divorced, one of the very first things I thought was, man, I'm damaged goods now. What girls are going to want to date a guy like me? I'm going to have to lower my standards. Like, before I didn't want to date chicks that had kids. Now I should probably do that, because what chick's going to want to date a divorced guy? Maybe I wouldn't date chicks that weren't that cute before. Now I might have to, because I'm tainted. That really sucked to think like that. And when I started realizing I needed a change in my life. I wasn't happy with where I was going. I wasn't positive. I was reliving the past over and over again and all my past failures. So I started this self-help, self-improvement journey on my own. Quit doing the tactical training. Started co-running a yoga studio, health and wellness studio with a friend. Started working on self-improvement. And it wasn't for about 6-7 months later I read about this book, The Game. Read it in 3 days, went out, started using this stuff. And a couple months later, Neil Style was doing a seminar. I ended up going to it with my wingman. We met him. He offered me, I ended up staying for free for that. And on the end of the second day, he actually asked me to help teach. A little bit later, I went to New York with them for a seminar and boot camp. I helped teach there. And I went from junior coach to senior coach to eventually executive coach, where I moved out to LA, and I lived there for like the last 5 years, running the company, the coaching staff, full-time, 40-plus hours a week, in-field training, phone coaching, boot camp, seminars, all that stuff. So I'm pretty good at this pickup stuff. About a year ago, I started my own company. I have my own website, bravopua.com. And part of it is I have a free forum, a blog. All this stuff's free. One thing that always pissed me off was guys who aren't on their own forum posting. I'm the #1 poster on my site. I think my forum's pretty solid. Lots of free content, lots of free information. I'm on it all the time. I try to answer as many posts as I can too, but if not, there's other guys on my site, and I use a belt system like Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, so you can see there's purple belts, brown belts that are on it posting. You know these guys are legit. I give every single one of those out. So anyone that has one is solid. My online game 2.0 program, the only difference with that is the video that we're about to see now is on my forum, and all the new stuff that I come up with that I'm always testing and tweaking also gets put in this section of the forum. So it's my 2.0 program because it's always getting updated, and all my members are always posting new stuff there also. So it's user-driven content. We all help each other out. I also critique people's pages. You can go there. You can read all the critiques I've done of other people's pages, and you can learn a lot from that. If you just take notes from here, you're going to learn a lot, but that's just a program I offer, and it's $169. So one of the biggest problems guys use is online game. They don't use it correctly. Online game is not a replacement for cold approaching. Guys who get into this, they think they use it as a crutch, and they end up not using it properly, which you should be going out. You need to be going out and doing cold approaches, because if you don't have the balls and the confidence and the skill to do that, then when you go on a date with a girl online, a lot of times you're going to fuck it up because that shy awkwardness is going to come through. So I recommend this just supplements your game. You're online, you use it a little bit, you can't go to sleep, screw around at work or school, hop on, send some messages, that's it. It is also useful if you want to practice your dates, maybe sex too, while you're still working on your cold approach skills, because you can be getting dates using this. But like I say, this is just something that's just part-time, not your focus. Too many guys get into this, they quit cold approaching and they just use this. I didn't even get into online game for a couple years after I moved out to LA, because I just didn't want to focus on it. I wanted to work on my real game. The other thing you can do too, and I'll explain this a little bit more later, is when you travel somewhere, and I did this to London when I went there a little bit ago for a seminar, I set my profile up saying I lived in London beforehand. I was going there for a work event, and I was going to scout it out because I might be thinking about moving there. And that's not necessarily dishonest, because I might move to London. So I needed like a tour guide or someone to help me out, so I had girls lined up before I even went there. And one of them traveled over 4 hours to come see me. So different sites. People use Facebook, and they think Facebook is good for gaming. I use it a different way. I want my Facebook page to be awesome, and I want people who then look me up online. Girls think they're being sneaky, and they search me up. Or someone that maybe I Facebook close, when they go to my page, I want my page to be money, to where they look at it, and that does the work for me. So you want to have cool pictures up, cool funny status updates up. I put lots of that stuff up, and I give everyone here permission just to copy and paste the shit I use. And just instead of sharing it from my page, though, go to the source and then do it that way so it looks like you found it. And one of the funny things I see is online, I'll post something, and 30 minutes later, someone else will post it, and there's all these comments from his friends. Where do you find this stuff? This is so funny. And obviously, it's for me. I give you guys permission to do that. I don't use Facebook to game girls, because to me, it's just, there's so much other competition. The girls aren't in the right headspace, in my opinion, to get hit on in Facebook. Guys teach it. To me, I just think my time can be used more effectively and more efficiently. This comes from my martial arts and tactical training background. So I don't want to have to spend a lot more time on something if I can spend 5 minutes on a dating site or 5 hours on Facebook to get the same results. MySpace, it's dead. Some people still use it. Looking at the camera too. Don't use MySpace. Even though Justin Timberlake or something bought it and they're trying to bring it back. It's dead. Match.com, eHarmony, those cost money. I'm cheap. I don't want to have to spend any money if I don't have to. eHarmony, you can't even check out girls yet. You got to like pay and like get matched up or something with them. Like I was trying to scan girls, I couldn't see if they're hot or not. Fuck that. Free dating sites, Craigslist. It's usually used by prostitutes. It's any girl that would go on Craigslist and put up an ad. Not classy. I don't want to go out that type of girl. OkCupid. I'm using that now. It's getting better. But most of the people who are on OkCupid, there's these tons of these questions and quizzes and all that stuff. And that's stuff that girls like. I don't like any of that stuff. I don't want to fucking waste hours answering dumb quizzes. But unless it's like a zombie quiz or something, like some of those are kind of funny, but that's it. I'm always like the #1 guy. I'm the guy that would live, everyone else would die. But anyways, with the OkCupid stuff, it seems like most girls get into that and they like investing all that time, and it's not as like rapid fire and fast like the other dating site I use. So it works, but really what I recommend is finding a site on the next one I'm going to show you, creating a profile that works, and then I just copy and paste it on other ones. So you can use it that way. So which site do I recommend? Plenty of Fish. Now hands up, who here has a Plenty of Fish account? Okay, cool. How many guys have gotten laid? Oh, actually, everyone who has their hand up, keep your hand up. Okay, one hand up. How many guys who have their hands up, raise your other hand if you've gotten laid off Plenty of Fish? 3, 4, okay. Now everyone who has their hands up, how many guys get cold messaged by girls on Plenty of Fish? Put them down if that happens. 1, 2, 3. Okay. I didn't get into if they're hot enough. They're not fatties and stuff like that. But usually it's chicks messaging you that aren't that hot. Actually, using this stuff, I get hot girls messaging me all the time. It's fucking amazing. And you guys, I'll tell you word for word what to put on it. But anyways, Plenty of Fish. I like it. It's free. It's very simple just to scroll through and go, hottie, hottie, fatty, whatever. And I used to spend a lot of time going on each girl's page and reading it, and I'll teach you my brand new opener too that's also on my forum. I'm always coming up and testing with new stuff. I just posted it there 4 days ago. I updated it in the slideshow. It's at the end. And it's very simple. Now, like what I'll do is I'll just right-click, open a new tab, right-click, open new tab, right-click, open new tab, blocker. No, I'm just joking. And then I'll just go to these other ones, and I'll just copy and paste the same message over and over again. And I'll get like an 80 or 90% return rate now. It's insane. And then after they read my page and after they message me back, then I go to their page and read it. But I'm only picking them because I think they're attractive, just like we would in real life. I don't know if this girl's a fucking middle child and she's going like for school to be a vet. I don't know any of that when I approach her. So I don't think I need to waste all that time researching her before I do online. Also, I'm lazy, so I just don't want to do any more work. So before you guys who don't have a profile set up, the very first thing you want to do is learn about the enemy. This is the tactical training stuff too. So on this, who is the enemy? Good, okay. Sometimes the seminars they'll go, the girls. They get too pumped up. I go, no, it's not the girls. They're not the enemy. I don't want to do battle with them. I want to make sweet love to them. So anyways, with the enemy, you always want to think about too. You got to see things from her perspective. And this is one of the things too that I just, right off the bat, I was really good at. I kind of think from my sales perspective. I was always thinking like, I don't want to come off as too pushy. So I was always like, I always just thought about it. Like, I want to look at things from my perspective, and this is the same thing in the club, out in field, online, anything. I want to look at the world through my perspective. I want to look at it through her perspective, and I also want to look at it through everyone else's perspective who's in the club. Because I remember one night when I first got into this, we're at a bar. Some goofy guy comes in the bar, talks to a table full of girls. Hey, what's up? High fives them. Goes to another table, laughs. Hey, it's so good to see you. High fives them and walks out. And I remember seeing that guy, and I was like, holy fuck, man, how does that goofball know all those hot chicks? I was like, man, I can't wait till I'm like that one day. So later, after like 30 minutes and slowly got up the courage to go and start talking to some girls, we eventually got to one of these tables of the hot girls, started talking to them, and I see this guy leaving. And I go, hey, your friend's leaving. Do you want to say bye? Because I was actually kind of curious to meet the guy. I wanted to go, what's this guy's story? And they look up and they go, yeah, we don't know that guy. And I was like, what? I go, I saw you guys earlier, say hi to him. They're like, no, we never met him before. He just came over and said hi. And that's when I was like, fuck, man, perceived value, social proof, and the rest of the place. I was like, I saw him from across the bar, and if I noticed it, how many girls are noticing that stuff? And that's when it clicked in my head when I first got into this. My perspective, I was the outside person in that situation. But online, I want to look at my page from my eyes, but through her eyes also. So I set up a fake profile. And this is actually, like I said, if you go to my website before, there's that little, you give me your email address, I send you the free something. It's a 30-minute audio interview with this chick, Laura, who I picked up, this hot Asian girl in Phoenix. And I set up actually the profile using her pictures and stuff. She wasn't happy about that. But I asked her, she said no, but I was like, I'm in California, who cares? And girls are fucking sneaky too, man. When I was visiting her once, I was getting some pictures off her camera, and I just copied her memory card, because she was like, oh yeah, it's just a couple pictures of me and then all of our pictures, because we had some naughty pictures on it. And I went through, and there was literally like 200 pictures of her. And she was in the mirror taking these pictures, and like around the corner, looking at it, all that shit. And you would see she was taking a picture like this, and the next picture, that was up, her chin was up, and it was like just millimeter movement over and over and over again until she got the fucking perfect picture. And that was the one that was on her Facebook page too. So I started almost feeling a little bit guilty about some of this stuff. But then I remember all the shit girls do, makeup, implants, high heels, all that kind of stuff. And I go, you know what? Learning how to be a little bit smoother and a little funnier online, I don't feel that bad anymore. But anyways, when I set up this page, I wanted to see things from her perspective. So the first thing I did is I set it up, and I started checking out dudes. Okay? So it's a little hard to see, but I know on the video we're going to implement the slides too. I'm going to read what you guys need to see, but his username is nice and friend. And his subject line is, hello. Nice and friend, hello. Looking at his picture too, well, he's 43 years old, and his picture, he's a little bit bigger and he has that goatee. That's not good. I was talking about that earlier with some guys. You don't want to do that. It draws a lot of attention to your face and shows his double chin. But it also looks like he's in a minivan right now. He's wearing his seatbelt, so he cares about safety. But it also looks like he's driving on the freeway right now. He's trying to smile, and it looks so painful for him. It looks like he might possibly be shitting his pants right at this moment. So I don't know about you guys, but I've never been to the point where I'm like, fuck, I need that picture for that dating profile when you're driving. And actually on my page now, I even say at the bottom, I say, do not contact me, and I have a whole list, you'll see it in a second. But I added recently, do not contact me if your picture is you driving a car. That's very unsafe. And girls like, no, I'm in a parking lot, it's okay. And I was like, still, why? That doesn't make sense to me. But anyways, so his marital status is separated. I'm divorced, but I don't need to tell everyone my history and my background. People don't know that when I meet them. So if you're any of those things, I recommend just saying single. Interests. Cooking, sports, movies, outdoors. Not very helpful. Besides being in his minivan outdoors, obviously he likes to eat. So now it's about me section. This is the good stuff. I am a guy who enjoys dating, family, friends, hanging out with good people, cooking, grilling, sports, dancing, and movies. Period, lowercase g. Going, G-O-I-N, going for bike rides, walks, and long drives. I doubt he rides and walks like he says, and long drives. Very laid back, hardworking, and I don't sweat the small stuff. He also doesn't sweat proper punctuation or spelling. And the two shortest words in the English language is the letter I and the letter A. So I am a guy, no shit. See, also too, it's like a sales pitch. The people, if they only read a couple sentences and that's all, a couple words and that's all you get, I am a guy who enjoys dating. Anyone here not enjoy? Anyone here in the audience in the front? There's one girl back. Was anyone in the front row not a guy who enjoys dating? That's so insane. And then he also put a capital A. I am a guy. So he misspelled it. He actually misspelled A. First date. Lunch, coffee, quiet place, maybe a drink just to get to know one another a little bit. See if there's chemistry. I'm sure girls are just lining up to see if there's chemistry with the guy in the minivan. All right, and then also his mail settings. Now, this is something important to think about because I've tested this a lot too. Down here at the mail settings, he wants only chicks to mail him, ages between 30 and 50. He's 43, so he thinks he can be pulling 30-year-olds. Good for him. And he likes to drive too because it's 75 miles away. But one thing you want to say too is you'll notice this on girls' pages at the bottom. It says there's settings, and it says must not be looking for intimate encounter. Even if you are looking for that, never say it. It also, there's a setting that says must not have contacted users for intimate encounter. I guess there's a setting on here, as soon as you message a chick who says that she's looking for that, you'll get put in a different category, and you can't message all these other chicks who have that setting. So even if you are there for that, don't post that you are. Don't say that you are. Don't message those girls. Because every other dude's messaging those girls too. I don't even want to go after them. But then it fucks you up with all the girls that have that setting. If you really want to do it, then set up 2 profiles. But just be careful. They check IPs because they banned the fake girl profile I had. They caught it. Also, too, he only has 1 picture, so not good. You want to have more, which I'll get into picture selection in a minute. So anyways, when I set up this girl profile, this is what happened. Within a day or two, there was 13 pages of messages. So this is what you have to compete with, okay? And just real quick, I'm going to scroll through this, the subject, and you can see the time, too. I mean, it was all the same day. This is all 8:30 and then 8:29. There's 2 there. It's 2:26, 2:24, 2:46. And they're not even logging in. It was just overflowing. And she's like a hot little Asian girl, too. She's like 5 foot tall. It was insane how much stuff happened. But anyways, subject, hi, hello, hey. I made her name Mandy on it. Hey, Mandy, hi. Actually, 2 in a row. Hi, Mandy, hi, Mandy. Hey, Mandy, hey, hi, hello, hello. Gone fishing? Yes, must be nice. Forgot to attach pic. Hello, beautiful. Hi, 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 hi. Hi, hey, you sound great. Hi, hey, hello, beautiful. Hi, 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 hey. Coffee? Hi, 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 hey, hi, hi. Tub of drink? Hi, hi, hi. I think it's funny. Hey. Hey, hi, hi, hi. I need a female opinion on something. And if you notice, I replied. He closed me. No. Actually, I felt bad for this guy. This guy's profile was actually pretty nice. You could tell he's an AFC. So I was like, hey, just to let you know, my friend teaches this stuff. You shouldn't use this. I don't like those opinion openers on here, too. But anyways, I actually tried to give him some advice. We were actually messaging back and forth. But I pretend to be Laura, who helped me out. And I felt very weird afterwards. But I was trying to be nice, because I'm a really helpful guy. I know. So anyways, this is what you're competing with. And like I said, this is only page 4, 13, again, 1238, 1235. So you really got to separate yourself from everyone. So when you create a page, the very first thing, I'm going to go top to bottom, is you need to work on a headline. And I tested all these different headlines. I logged in at certain times. I tracked how many messages I got back. I saw how many messages girls messaged me. And I really actually got data on it. I even have a graph that shows that it's like legit. But the very first headline I put up was, nice guy looking for a nice girl. I'm a nice guy. I like a nice girl. That's not dishonest. And you can see by the graph that it was shit, that no one messaged me. No girls messaged me first, and I think I got like one response or something from that. Nice guy looking for a nice girl. It's better than nice and friends saying hello, but... And I was always going to say bad if I felt if nice and friend was here in the audience, but I was like, no, you're getting all this advice. You should feel good. So the next headline I tested, which is actually something I've used before in field, is they like, what's your story? And they go, oh, I'm the guy your mother warned you about. And you can see that worked a lot better. I think that's currently my profile one right now that I'm testing. So headline is, the guy your mother warned you about. That one worked really well. The next one is I was trying to like just bust every other dude's balls on the site at once. So I said, not creepy or a wuss like every other guy on here. And a lot of girls who did message and respond thought it was funny, but it didn't nearly get the same results of the last one. Oh, fuck, I even forgot I used this one. I need to test it again now that I'm in Arizona. The next one is, I taught Cupid everything he knows. And I got that as a quote from somewhere, from some book or something. But I read it, and I was like, oh, it's good. I always have my iPhone. I'm pull it out. If I ever hear a good quote, I'm like, psh, write it. You guys watch Californication? You watch that show? Okay, awesome show, too. But I'm listening to it all the time. Like, I'm like, fuck, that's a good little line, and I just copy it down. And then the last one, and you can clearly see by the height of the bar, it's the best. And it's Bravo's top secret headline. Now, the headline is not Bravo's top secret headline. Someone from another conference emailed me. He's like, dude, my page isn't working. He sent me the link, and I think it was his first name. It was like, let's say it's Chris. Chris's top secret headline. I was like, dude, I go, I like that you're paying attention, but it was the next slide. That was the top secret headline. So don't write that down. Write this one down. So this is the one I tested. I was really just trying to take it as far as I could to see what I could get away with. And the most effective headline is, I'm kind of an asshole. I'm not saying, well, you can see right there, it did like 2 stars. Actually, I think it did the whole thing. It tried to block it out, and I made it look like that. I'm kind of an asshole. So I put it up. I wanted to see just what it would get away with. I started joking about like that. I was like, oh, you don't want to date a guy like me. I'm kind of an asshole. I don't say I am an asshole. I'm not saying I'm a huge asshole. Just, I'm kind of an asshole. I put that up, and messages just started rolling in from girls. Oh, my God, you're so funny. Oh, I can't believe it. Finally, a guy who's honest. And actually, one of the girls, if you guys get into, even if you just join my site, I have a private section that you don't see until you register for my forum, which, like I said, it's all free. But it's a field report section because a lot of guys don't like their field reports getting out there. So in there, I have a little section of my field reports. And one of them, it's actually HB Blackberry is the title of it. It's actually a chick I started dating for a while, too. She messaged me. In the whole transcripts there, you can see it. But in this, actually, I think on her page, she said she liked GSP. And this is when GSP and BJ Penn were going to fight. And I was like, GSP's going to lose. BJ's going to kill him. And then, actually, I was wrong. He won. But anyways, we started talking back and forth. And she even said on her page, I think it was her, maybe I'm getting mixed up with another one. But anyways, I'm messaging some girl. And on her page, it actually said she's looking for a nice guy. And we're messaging back and forth, and I go, hey, out of curiosity, how come you're messaging me? She's like, oh, you're funny, and blah, blah. I go, yeah, but I'm kind of an asshole, and says you're looking for nice guys. And she goes, you're not an asshole. And I was like, no, I'm an asshole. It says so right there. I'm kind of an asshole. And she goes, no, you're not. And she goes, and I'll tell you why. She actually worked at a law firm. She was like a legal assistant and going to school for that. She's actually pretty smart. And she goes, you're not an asshole, and I'll tell you why. And I go, why? She goes, I think we were talking on the phone, and she said this. She goes, because in my experience, every guy I've ever met who says he's a nice guy turns out to be an asshole. And no real asshole would admit to being an asshole. So by the process of elimination, you're actually a nice guy. I was like, wow, that's really smart. And then I fucked her. So the next thing we want to focus on is pictures. DHV pictures. And there's a lot of guys who don't like all the terminology. I actually like some of it. I use some of it a lot. Same thing with jiu-jitsu. I trained at the Planet for a little bit. A lot of people rip on that stuff. I like having these terms. It helps us all understand if we've all read the game and the book. We know what DHV means instantly. And that's just the stuff that demonstrates higher value. That means you're cool, that you're awesome. So when I'm doing these pictures, I have and this actually was a picture from a boot camp where I'm in the limo. I didn't even think it was that good of a picture. But because I was testing this over and over, I put that picture up as my default picture, and that was the one that got the most views. And there's a little section, and this is why I like Plenty of Fish so much. You can click a little button on the upper right, and it says Viewed Me, and you can see who viewed your page. So you can't get feedback like that on other sites. And with Plenty of Fish, it's free. Look at it for a week or two. If you're not getting views, change your picture, change your headline, change what you're looking for. Instead of saying you're looking for a long-term relationship, say you're looking to date, but nothing serious. And then see if your views go up. So that's what I kept doing until eventually I started getting crazy amounts of views by fucking hot chicks. And then I started getting girls messaging me, and I thought that was normal. And I was talking to other guys that do online dating, even guys I worked with, and they're like, no, girls aren't even responding to my profile. And I was like, oh shit, I got like 8 messages from hot girls like today. So by testing it, even if I don't think it's a great picture, it doesn't necessarily matter what we think from our perspective. I care what the girl thinks. So that one, I actually say that I'm tired. Next to it, I have 2 chicks kissing me. That's from a boot camp. This is from us out at a party at a club in LA. And then also you want to kind of convey your personality. So it's a little hard to see here, but this is in a knife class. This is me in tactical gear. This is me dressed up. This is a headshot. Now, I'll get to the headshot in a second. It actually didn't work out well. But you also want to balance it out, because I don't want to just have I'm cool, chicks, chicks, chicks. You want to have you doing fun, cool stuff. You want to convey your personality. A picture's worth 1,000 words. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8,000 words. I don't know. So you want to lighten it up. So this is actually one that I did. I'm not even that good with pumpkins. I got like a template and cut it out. But this is just something funny I did with a girl I was dating for Halloween, and I put this up just to see, and I get girls message me, oh, I love your pumpkins, especially around Halloween. Oh my God, those pumpkins are so cool. Jack and, is that Jill from the Nightmare Before Christmas? I don't know. But anyways, I thought that would look simple and kind of look cool. And the girl did the girl one. So I put that up. I get comments from this one. And this is like an opener form. They see something that's funny on the picture. It gives them an excuse to break the ice. So mad pumpkin carving skills. Having something that lightens it up instead of just being a huge asshole, a little bit of an asshole. The professional picture I put up, that was a headshot we actually used for one of our seminars for the sales page. I put it up on here to test it, and I made it my default, and all my views went into the toilet. I didn't get anyone messaging me. I didn't get anyone almost even viewing me. And I was trying to figure it out later, and I think it did poorly because, A, I was in Hollywood, Los Angeles, so everyone's fucking has headshots out there. Also, it doesn't kind of keep anything like away. It's like not mysterious at all. They can look and instantly see my face. It's a big close-up of my face, and they just kind of scan it, just like I do with girls. I'm scanning, and if I see like a close-up and it's not maybe a good picture, I don't like it, I just next her. But if the picture's kind of farther away, I'm not exactly sure what it is, then maybe I'll invest the 2 seconds to look. So once I went back to a full body, it worked way better. I kept it up later on the right side, but once I got rid of it, it seemed to do better. So at least in Los Angeles, I didn't do well with the headshots. Maybe in Phoenix it might work well because that's where I'm living now, but I haven't tested it yet. So I don't like the professional vibes. And I was mentioning earlier, guys asked, they go, well, I don't have any pictures. Even if you guys get this program, you'll see when I do critiques, everything is the first thing I say is, dude, your pictures suck. Dude, your pictures suck. Why are you wearing that? Your clothes are like out of style. And he's like, oh, that picture's from 2004. I'm like, why are you putting up a picture that's 6 years old on your profile? Well, that's all the pictures I have. Some guy put up a picture. He was at Hoover Dam, and he's standing. The only reason I knew it because he was like in front of this emblem that said Hoover Dam, and that was the only picture he had up. And he's in cargo shorts, flip-flops, baggy T-shirt with the sun in his eyes, and he's like this in front of Hoover Dam. And I was like, dude, what are you trying to convey in that picture? Like that you hang out at dams by yourself? Like dressed poorly? Like that's really what you're trying to convey? So if you're not good at getting pictures, then go out with a friend, go out with a wingman. And what I used to do is every weekend we switch. I had the camera one weekend, he had the camera the next weekend. If I'm talking to a girl, I'm having fun, we're doing something crazy, it's his job to recognize it, come out and take a picture. And even if it kind of ruined things, like that first couple weeks, because it made it kind of maybe awkward, because he's like, hey, let me get a picture. And this is how I would do it. I'd go, oh, hey, Gypsy, let me take a picture of you real quick. And I'd get the camera, and I'm like, oh, I can't get you guys all in it. Get a little closer. And then they'd, oh, that's an okay picture. Give him a kiss. And I was the guy doing it, not him. Even if it kind of ruined that set, maybe, at least we got a picture out of it, so that we could use it later on Facebook and Plenty of Fish and help us in the future. So it's worth it. So have your wingman help you. And then if you guys need to, fashion makeovers, hairstyle, all that stuff. It's crazy to me too, guys. Your hair is like the thing that remains constant all the time. Your hair, your skin, your body shape, that remains constant all the time. The guys don't want to work on that, but then they think like going out and buying like putting earphones on or a boa or something like that's going to work. But you can only wear that in very specific areas and circumstances and not come off really weird. But why not have the stuff that's going to be the same in every picture to look good? So I always recommend working on that stuff first. Make sure they're good pictures. DHV, we all know what those are. So the next one is the likes and interests. I've played around with this. I haven't seen that big of a draw from it. But martial arts, guns, knives, Curb Your Enthusiasm, magic, knives, music, Always Sunny, yoga, Callie my cat, 80s music, guy stuff. I play with it. The only thing I really notice is like when you're searching a lot of times, whatever's first will pop up at the top of the page. I think it's like a meta description or something. That'll always pop up. So you always want to make sure your first one's good. Don't just put like music. Like at least kind of make it a little bit more special, like 80s music. I love 80s music. Next one's the About Me section. And this is where I would definitely take notes. And you can see, short and sweet. I go to girls' pages, and there's fucking 8 paragraphs about dumb shit that I don't care about. So I obviously don't read that. I don't waste any time. And I think a lot of times there's guys who are even messaging you faster, so you got to keep it short and sweet. And to me, this has actually been my most effective About Me I've ever had. And you can see it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 sentences. Now I have modified the last sentence just a little. I'll explain it, but that's really 5 sentences. That worked the best. Short, sweet, gets their attention, lets them message me. Or if I message them first, they go to my page, they can spend 20 seconds, 30 seconds on it, and they can read a lot about me. And I go to the next slide, it's bigger. So about me, I go, not fond of the LA club scene, tired of being asked if I have any blow. Guess I'm looking to see if there are any girls who break the LA mold. That's a great line too. When I was out in the field, I always say that with girls. Oh, do you break the LA mold? I want to date chicks like that. And they're like, oh yeah, I do. So, not fond of LA club scene, tired of being asked if I have blow. Guess I'm looking to see if there are any girls who break the LA mold. Change LA if you're in a different area. A little bit about myself. And I always downplay my cool shit because I don't have to brag about it. Firearms instructor, I taught that for a few years. Needed a change, so co-founded a yoga studio in Phoenix. Now out here and right, guess crazy how life works out. Guess the secret works. That line right there too, girls went crazy over. Oh my God, I just read The Secret, it's so awesome. Oh, I got it from Oprah, blah, blah, blah. So anything like that. Oh, you're into yoga, that's so cool. They're like, oh, I always wanted to shoot a gun. Now there's like 3 different little ways the girls can start a conversation. The last line is the most money line. This is what you guys want to write word for word. Do not message me if you are a stripper, bartender, waitress, aspiring actress, Scorpio, or if you have implants. It never works, ... The only thing I do different now is I bullet point it. I go, do not message me if you are, and then boom, 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 and I list them all underneath it. I think that works better. So then, of course, what happens? Girls will message me first. What do you have against bartenders? I'm going to law school and blah, blah, blah. What do you have against Scorpios? And I'll get into that in a second. But actually, one, she was messaging me. She's like, what do you have against bartenders? And I was like, well, they're crazy. She's like, I'm not crazy. I was like, well, you might be the exception, but I'm pretty sure everyone else you work with is pretty crazy. She's like, yeah, you're right. I'm like, cool. So what's your story? And also, this conveys pre-selection. So I've actually never dated a chick with implants. I don't like implants. So, and I love Scorpios. I've dated tons of them. And I've never banged a stripper, germaphobe, bartender I've hooked up with. So this is really a lot of lying right here. This is full of lies. But it actually helps me because I like sweet girl next door types. So then they go, that's good that you don't bang strippers or implants. I was like, yeah, I'd rather have a girl that's totally flat and natural. I like that better. That's true. That's true. I really think that. Like Natalie Portman, that's like my Mila Kunis. That's like my favorite chicks, like that kind of type of girl. So, but what happens is I get these girls doing it. Well, my implants are really real. How come you don't like them? I was like, I've just never felt any that felt real. Well, you haven't felt mine yet. They feel great. I was like, oh, maybe we'll see. That's a great fucking initial conversation to have with a chick. That's how I roll. First date, also cocky, short, sweet. You would take me out for sushi, then I would do all the things to you that the last guy was too much of a wuss to do. Wink. So just something like that that's funny. But I'll say that to girls, I go, you take me out, and then in the transcripts you'll see it, and this one Asian girl, man, who messaged me, there's my field report, sex at the bar. I had her come out with karaoke with us. It was our first time meeting up. We're messaging back and forth, and I go, oh yeah, I read your page, you're like an 85% match until the sushi part, because she said she wanted to go for sushi too. But the guy would take her out, and I was like, well, you're going to take me out. She's like, I'm not going to take you out for sushi, you can take me out. And I was like, okay, I'll take you out. I go, but we should at least talk on the phone first. So then 2 messages, number close. I'll show you guys pictures. I'm not going to show it online, but I'll show you a couple pictures of her on my phone later if you guys want. Really smoking hot Asian girl. Had her meet us at the karaoke place. we're making out, fooling around for a while, and I'm sitting down at the table, and all of our friends are around us at this place. Neil's there, all the guys I worked with, they're all up singing. I'm sucking her tits, start fingering her at the table. She whips out my cock, starts giving me a hand job. We've been drinking. She ends up hopping on top of me. We just start having sex right there at the table. And I was like, man, fuck, I'm not wearing a condom. I got to take her home. So I popped out. It was so hard for me to stop. And I took her home, ended up banging her, and videotaped it and all this stuff too. But there's a great story. We were fucking, I doze off after the first round, wake up a couple hours later, we start going at it again. And it's taking me a long time to like come, and I wasn't finishing. So I was like, come on, do something dirty, say something dirty. Like, I need to finish. And she goes, well, would it help if you fucked me in the ass? And I go, yes. Yes, it would. And then later, I was going to write a blog post about this because she has some fucking hot friends too. And she's like Baptist, and she like plays guitar in their band. And I don't want to say too much stuff because you guys will find her. But anyway, she's really hot. And she has all these hot friends. So I was like, hey, you should introduce me to some of your friends. She's like, I'm not introducing you to them. They're good girls. You're bad. I was like, what the fuck? You're the ones fucking me at the bar on the first date. Let me stick it in your ass, and I'm the dirtbag. And you... So, that's crazy girl logic for you. That's how girls think. No, you can't go out with my friends. They're good girls. They don't... I was like, I was cool enough for you, but not for them. Another date is I go meet for a drink somewhere low-key in public in case you are nuts. P.S. No sex on the first date, so don't even try it. I actually just kind of copy this from girls because this is what they're saying on their page. Meet for a drink. See if you're crazy or whatever. That way I have a way to escape or something. So I just started saying it first. That's one of my favorite things to do is always say stuff to a girl before they can say it to me. You guys have all dealt with this before where the girl has a dog and she's like, hopefully my dog likes you because if he doesn't, it's over. He's been around before you, he'll be around after you. And we're like, oh shit, we're like, hey Fido, come please like me. So I have a cat and I started doing that to girls all the time. They come over, I was like, hey, if Callie doesn't like you, it's over. She really likes everyone. So then she comes out, she meows and lays down. I'm like, oh my God, it's so awesome. She doesn't do that with other people. Like, oh yeah, I'm good with cats. So I just do the same shit to us first. So that's one of my lines too is I go, like if I'm hanging out with a chick, I go, hey, just so you know, we're not having sex tonight. And she's like, yeah, I know, of course. I go, I know, because I just said we're not having sex. So we're not, no, you're not having sex with me. I go, you can't say it back to me. I said it first. And the HB Blackberry chick that I talked about, the lawyer one, she came over, we watched Taken. That just came out. I downloaded it. We watched that in my room, and about 2 hours later, we're having sex. And then afterwards, she's like, I thought you said we weren't going to have sex on the first date. I go, oh, I guess you won. Male settings. I've tested this too. Obviously, I put female because I don't want a lot of dudes messaging me. Because guys, we're doing this from seminars. Hey, Bravo, can you check out my page? I'm like, really, man? You're really fucking messaging me on Plenty of Fish to work for free? Come on. So I change it to female, and then I test these two, because this also conveys what you're looking for if a girl scans this and sees it. I don't want a fucking pen pal. I don't want an activity partner. I don't need to go meet a chick to go hiking with. I can do that in the real world. But by putting intimate encounter there, I keep that up a lot of time too, because then if girls later try to pull up on me and they'll say, oh yeah, you're just looking to hook up or whatever, I go, no, I'm not, see? It says no intimate encounters. I'm not, I'm looking to meet someone cool. So it's kind of like my safety net later if I ass fuck them on the first date. So tips on searching for girls, how specific when searching and what to look for. Different areas, different cities, different states are better than others. I set my profile up here. It was insane how many fucking hot girls are on this thing. But how picky? Be as picky as you want. So what are you looking for? 18 to 32, 1 year older than me, 5 foot to 5'8". Actually, I was dating a chick that I met on here who messaged me first, who was 4'9". That was fun. And she had like a PhD too, so she was actually pretty smart too. She was squared away. But that was fun. But as much as you want. What are you looking for? What style? Black hair? Asian? I like light skin and dark hair, so sometimes that's Asian chicks. Thin. You got to be careful too, because thin is usually thin. Athletic means they played softball in high school. And now they're fat. Average means fat. Slightly overweight means obese. And big and tall means bedridden. So, don't laugh. See, I'm kind of an asshole. I can get away with this stuff. You guys shouldn't be laughing at this. So, and then just be as specific as you want. And then, obviously, it's like a fishing net. You can widen it. If you're not getting the girls you want, then maybe don't be so picky with the hair or something. Also, too, sometimes girls fuck it up, and they'll put, like, the wrong thing down. And so I'll always change it, and a lot of times I also see who's online, who's online most recently, because at least I know they're active, and I want to go after those girls. So tips on searching for girls. What to avoid, and pay attention, because these tips can save your life. So contrast. Even though it's a little bit bright, you guys can still see it and make it out. This is a good warning sign. If I can't see a girl's nose or half of her mouth because she photoshopped it so much, that's a good sign that she has something to hide. And also, if you see down here, same picture, some fucking iPhone, Photoshop, whatever those little things are, making the kissy face with her eyes closed. Now the old style picture again, same one, filters. Do any of us have pictures like that on our Facebook page, on your MySpace page? No. So do any of us have that stuff? No, but girls do this stuff. Obviously, if they're doing that, they're trying to hide something. So if they don't have any normal pictures, be careful. If you can't see half their face, there's a reason they're hiding it. Again, and this chick is 36. She puts that up by doing that contrast. She looks pretty young. She's at least nice enough, though, to put a normal picture down here. I didn't put it up because I didn't want you guys to see it. I don't want to rip on people too much. So that one she looks horrible in. And then this one, she actually looks like she's drunk, passed out on the couch, and there's like a 6-pack of beer next to her, or a case of beer. And she's like, the sucker fish. What? Like, yeah, you're a sucker if you fall for these tricks. But again, I don't feel bad if a girl like this shows up and she doesn't look anything like I said. I'd go, goodbye. Like, that's instantly start off. That'd be like, some guy emailed me once too, and he was like, well, I told this girl that I was like actually 6 foot, but I'm not, so how can I play it? I was like, dude, you fucking lied to her. Why? Like, that's just horrible. So if I'm lying, and I'm just under 5'8", but if I was online saying I'm like 6'2" and stuff and drive a Lamborghini and all that, and then I go out on a date and the girl finds out that's not true, she should fucking dump me. That's a lie. This, to me, is a girl misrepresenting herself. This is a lie. So, fuck her. Here's a good example of it, too, and I found these pictures online. I mentioned before I like light skin and dark hair. This girl's wearing a hoodie. She looks like she's a little nerdy, too, maybe. Maybe she plays video games and stuff. So, this is the type of girl I would go crazy for. Light skin, I like the raccoon eyes, nice lips, piercing, little skater, rocker kind of vibe. I would fuck her in a second. This is her other picture. We need a wing, man. We need a wing. All right. I like this because there's a TV here, and it almost looks like she's the girl from The Ring that just popped out of it. And she's a monster. So, is what I'm getting at. She's horrible. She's hidden out. Okay, the next one, angles. There's those spoof videos they make that are funny, that beware the angles. So this girl's doing some weird head tilt. She's almost like a turtle, like popping her head out, twisting it. That's not normal to do that. We don't have any pictures where I'm doing that in a picture. But because I know this stuff now, I already saw the warning sign, the neck roll. If there's neck fat, you know she's fat. Be careful. She was at least nice enough to put up a real picture. Her arm is like bigger than my thigh. But, like I said, at least she's nice enough to put it up. However, I mentioned it earlier, body type, average. Not average. Asian girls, I like them sometimes. She's leaning back. It looks like she's orgasming. That'd be a nice view for any of us to have until she puts her head up. And she looks like a rat. The rat face. So that's another angle. Crop pictures. Okay? This is where someone walked out of the last time I taught this. There were some girls in the audience. They walked out. Fat girls love showing their big fat titties off. They say there's the joke. God, you know God has a sense of humor when there's a fat girl who's flat. Like that would suck. But some guys like the big fat titties. They look past it. She's definitely showing them off. But before we talked about the turtle head. A little bit of the neck fat. She's also wearing giant sunglasses trying to cover something up too. But honestly, if we saw that, that's not that bad, right? I'm not going to say anything for this one. That took me an hour to get that effect to where it would bounce like that.
But if we stabbed her with your knife, we could all fuck her at once.
Horrible. Horrible. This is why it could save your life. Imagine if she came over and pounded on you. That would be crushing. That would kill you. Look at those thighs, man. Why would you take that picture and let that be on the internet in general? And then why do you think it's okay to crop? Right? I got to go back. Why would someone think that's okay to do that? That's like so horrible of a lie. We'll do it one more time. Okay. So initiating contact. Cold messaging. This is when you're messaging the girl first. Okay? And you can do this a couple different ways. There are situational openers. And that's something about her page or her picture. And that's something that you can notice. There's one girl in one of the transcripts. She's at a club in LA, and she's sitting down in a white chair, and she has like a glass in her hand. But the way the chair's positioned, it's like it kind of looked like a toilet to me. So I had to look at it first. And I hate that when like ads and girls are on toilets and pictures. I don't want to see that. But anyway, so I messaged her. I go, "You look like you're sitting on a toilet in that picture." She messaged me back like 2 minutes later, going, "Wow, that's exactly the look I was going for. Thank you so much." And I was like, "Well, obviously you were. It's like one of your womanly tricks because it got me to message you. Well played. Well played." And we started messaging back and forth. Then I fucked her. So another one would be like a canned opener, which this is one of the ones I taught. There's a variation of this at the end, but this is one I send to girls. Any girl that looks like well put together, I'll send this to her. Are you one of those girls who takes forever to do her hair and makeup, or does it just look that way? And girls love having a response on that. "No, I'm not. I don't take that much time out. It's like 30 minutes out the door." I started playing with it recently, and I'll send a girl a message, and the subject will say, "Serious question." I'll send this or something else, but I'll say, "Serious question. Let's say you're taking me out for sushi." And then in parentheses, I go, "One reason or another. I'm starving. I haven't eaten anything all day." I go, "How long until you just got home from the gym. You need to take a shower and get ready. How long until we're out the door? A, 30 minutes and you look hot and I can't keep my hands off you. B, 15 minutes and you look pretty cute." I go, "C, 2 hours and do I die from starvation?" And then she's like, "Well, no." And then girls start playing around with this. And they're like, "No, I would make you something, or I'd have snacks for you I took ready." And it depends. If it's your birthday I'm taking you out, I would really get dressed up. I would have managed my time better. But yeah, it takes me like an hour. So now they're qualifying, they're role playing, and we start joking around with it. So that's another way of doing it. But this one, just real simple. I copy and paste this over and over and over to chicks. So another way is the one I used for the one at the bar. "Reading your profile, I think you're like an 85% match. Not sure if you can handle the other 15%. Now it's a challenge. And she's like, "Well, why is that? What's wrong?" So that's one you can copy and paste. That's been a solid one for me. Not as effective as the last one, but it's a really solid one. This is the best way of doing it. Actually, the best way is the way really I operate on it now is I just leave my page up and girls message me first. And then I'll just log in to respond to them. Then when I log in to respond to a girl, I'll click the Viewed Me button, and I'll see who's checked me out in the last week or two. Then I'll respond, and then I'll send one of these messages to those girls. But that's really all I invest in this. I'm not spending hours and hours, unless I'm testing new things or working on new things. I'm not spending all this time on it. So the Viewed Me section is really going to be the best way to see it. Because when you log in, you're going to see all these chicks who've been checking you out. And either they looked at you for a second, they maybe looked at you for 5 minutes, we don't know. But what I'll do is I'll just go right-click, open a new tab, right-click, open a new tab, right-click, open, and I'll just open multiple tabs. And then I'll do a quick scan, maybe look at the pictures, make sure there's no cropped Photoshop pictures for fatties. Then I'll just do a copy and paste and message these girls. And then they start messaging me back. Then I go from there. But that's really the most effective way because these girls have already looked at you for a second, so there's at least some interest there. So it's almost like a warm approach, not like a total cold approach. A lot of times when I message girls who've viewed me, I'll just send them just a couple of these. One is just, oh boy, ... And they'll message me back, they're like, oh boy, what? What's that about? And I go, oh man, you look like you're one of those girls that takes hours to get ready. My ex was like that. Can't deal with you anymore. Girls with long hair, I go, yeah, that looks like it's some serious hair. I bet you shed a lot. I'm going to be finding that hair everywhere. You're probably going to plug up my shower drain. You're probably just looking for like a plumber or something. No, I don't shed that much, blah, blah, blah. And guys who've dated girls with long hair know this. When they're around for a while, you wash your clothes. You'll find it in your socks. You're walking around like it's in your underwear, something's tickling you, and you pull out this fucking long hair. It ends up everywhere. This one's money. You look like trouble. Wink. That's it. I say that all the time to girls in field too. I talk to them, I just go, you know what? You look like trouble. I don't think we can hang out. I'm a good boy. Well, I'm really kind of an asshole. So this is another good one. It's a little bit longer, but it's money too. So you checked me out but didn't message me? So what, not hot enough for you? It's okay, I can take it. Probably for the best. You're a Scorpio, or whatever they are. Nothing but trouble, ... Wink, Steve. What are you having against Scorpios? And actually, the girl who I banged at the bar, she actually did this to me online. We were on the phone. She was like, oh, what are you? And I'm like, oh, I'm an Aries. She's like, oh, I just got this astrology book. And she started reading it online. It was some sex astrology book. So then within a couple minutes, we started talking about sex on the phone. And I was like, man, that's fucking awesome. That's a great way to bring it up. So then on one girl, 2, 3 girls later, a chick who messaged me first, this hot, half Filipino girl, we ended up going out to the Grove, which is where I live nearby. And I had a couple scripted dates. I'll get to those in a second too. But we went out to the Grove, and I was like, oh, let's go to Barnes & Noble. I want to get something. So we went up there, and I went through some astrology books, and guys asked me, they're like, which one do you have? Don't worry about which book I have. Go through the books and find one that makes your sign sound awesome. So I went through it, and I was like, that one's Aries okay. That one's okay. Oh, this one makes fucking Aries sound awesome. That's the one I'm buying. So I bought it with her on the date. That became the date. Well, then I just leave it on my coffee table all the time. So anytime a girl comes over, she sees it. We start reading about it. And then also on the phone, I bring it up with girls. Oh, I just started getting into astrology. Here, I just got a book. And I don't tell them the name of it. I start reading it. Then after we're talking about this stuff, she's like, yeah, that's true. Wait, what kind of book is that? Oh, it's a sex astrology book. And a 22-year-old Mexican chick just last week, within like 4 minutes, naked, getting it on. I use this book on her. This was another one. This one I kind of almost made a situational opener. I specialized it for this girl. Same thing, but I go, probably for the best. Your elbows look scary. Laugh out loud. Steve, wink. I always like winking and stuff. That's all the stuff I hated for a long time, but girls use it, so I started using it. It also kind of softens up all my shit. And then I go, your elbows look scary. Seriously, that pic, the angle makes them look crazy huge. And what had happened was in her picture, she had like her arm up like this, and her elbow was really close to the camera, so it looked like my knee. It was like right next to it. It looked huge. So I messaged her, and they look real pointy too, so I messaged her that, busting her balls about it. And actually, I think the next slide has it. Okay, so I messaged her, and this was her response a few minutes later. How did you find out that teasing girls gets them to respond? It's way better than, and she copied and pasted a poem a dude had sent her that he had wrote. So now I'm just some guy she doesn't even know. She's making fun of this other guy to me. That's another breakthrough I had when I first got into this was you guys all have to realize that your ex, when it's over, she's probably in bed with another dude a day later, maybe even like a month before it's over, but she could be in bed with another dude very, very short time frame afterwards, and after they've done it, she starts opening the floodgates and starts telling them all the embarrassing shit about you, the time you couldn't get up in bed, how you're not good at going down, or all these kind of things, because that's all the shit I hear all the time from girls. So when you guys are still thinking about your ex, and they're like, oh, I want to get back to her. No, your ex is riding some other dude, laughing at you. Don't go back. So this girl's now making fun of a guy that she doesn't even know to another guy she doesn't even know. That's fucked up. It's more fucked up than the stuff I've done. But anyway, she goes, by the way, my knees look scary too. I think it's because I was skinny growing up. Well, then we start messaging back and forth. Very simple. But she even said flat out, how'd you find out that teasing girls gets them to respond? I was like, well, there's a book. It's called The Game. No. Initiating contact. So Other thing, too, you can do is when girls start messaging you first, which this does happen, how to respond. Things girls will say is like, so why no Scorpios? And I'll go, well, they always seem cool at first, and we really hit it off, but then after a little, they get really clingy, or they have a touch of the crazy. That's a line I love saying, too. Like, I don't go out with bartenders. They got a touch of the crazy. Then it's all downhill. Maybe I should just stick to, and I say something else. Something she isn't. But then I'll wink or something like that. So that way it's letting her know. She goes, well, I'm not like that. I don't believe astrology. I don't think that can define you, blah, blah. And I go, well, actually, I had my chart done a little bit ago, and like all the other planets play a big part in it, too. And that's the way you can get away from it. Then a lot of times what I'll do, too, I might just message the girl, and I'll answer her question back right away. She'll go, oh, wow, are you really that cocky? And I'll go, actually, I'm confident. Not cocky. There's a big difference. And she's like, well, what? I go, well, it's not cocky if it's true. But I'll say something like that. But then what I'll respond is then I'll actually wait a minute, and I'll look at her page, and then I'll send something back, and I'll go, wow, I just checked out your page, or checking out your page. You actually look like you have a good head on your shoulders, which is getting harder and harder to find. What's your story? So I'll do that as a response, then I'll check out her page, because this is what girls do. They'll just respond to your question, and they don't even check out your page. They just respond. Then after a couple messages back and forth, then you'll see them on the Viewed Me section. And they'll go, oh, I just saw your cat. I love cats or something. So girls were doing this to me. I realized it, so I started doing it to them. Even if I really checked them out ahead of time, I just conveyed that I just looked it up. It's just kind of general rules, messaging back and forth. If they're doing a short message, I try to do a little bit of a longer message because I want to try to reinvest them in the conversation and bring them back. And if they do a long one, then I'm knowing that they're invested in it, so then I can kind of do some short ones too. But I don't like doing like giant stories to giant stories, and if they're doing something short, I don't want to just do something short back because then you'll lose them. Name exchanges. I always do this. If you notice all my emails, all the templates I had, I always had Steve at the bottom. So I'll just throw that out there. My real name's Steven, so I put Steve. And a lot of times the girls will message you back and they'll go, hey, Steve, or again, don't copy this word for word, use your name. But they'll go, hey, Paul, blah, blah, blah. Now I know that they actually read it, they paid attention, they took the time to type it up. That to me is an IOI, indicator of interest. Then a lot of times they'll offer their name at the bottom. Offering it on their own, that's polite, then I start using it. If they don't, after a few of these, I'll ask them. I'll say, hey, so what's your name? You never told me. But that right there kind of means a little bit of a test. So sometimes the point system, this is something I got from Neil, where the girls, if they say something cool, I'll go, oh, that's awesome, plus 5 points. And she's like, oh, thanks. Or I used to say too, like, plus 5 Fonzie cool points or something. And then she's like, oh, that's cool. How many points do I have? And I was like, oh, when I get to 20, you get my phone number. So that's something you can do too, and that goes right into the number closing. Number exchange. So a lot of times with the number exchange, I'll just throw it out there at the bottom. I just put it, and I want to see what happens. A lot of times they'll send their number right back because they feel there's this level of comfort they feel because I gave it to them. Now they feel safe sharing it. But then they send it back to me, so they want me to call. The next thing is I'll throw my number out there, and sometimes they try to be funny. They're like, oh, what am I supposed to do with that? I'm like, oh, you're smart, girl. You can figure that out. But I always try to transition to the phone as fast as possible because I don't want 13 other pages of guys messaging them. And I don't want one of you guys swooping in and stealing her while I'm messaging her. That's not going to happen, no. So I'll throw it out there, the 20-point system. And this is the one I use the most effectively. I go, man, my fingers are getting tired, typing all day and actually don't want to associate work with chatting with you. Free to chat in 10 minutes, and then I'll throw my phone number there. And I started saying this too. I've kind of removed it at the end, but I still, if the girl's a little antsy, sometimes I'll put it there. I go, so you can call me and block if you want. Laugh out loud. Sometimes the girls go, well, how do you block? And I was like, I think it's *67. And you can like block for caller ID. It says private when they call. And the girl's like, oh, I don't know. I just joined. I don't know if I want to call you yet. It's kind of, and I was like, no, you can call me. I don't have your number. And then if you don't like me, just hang up and I'll never hear from me again. But I don't even think I've ever had a girl ever actually block her number. They'll just the fact that I'm offering that, they show that I'm like thinking of them and trying to make them feel safe, and they'll be cool. When to call, if I say that 10-minute thing, I'll try to call them within about 10 minutes. I'm not watching the clock, maybe like 12 minutes or something. I'll go do something, get a drink, sit down, get my headset on, get comfortable. But I always try to want to call sooner than later because I don't want to miss that window of opportunity. How many conversations? I try to have as few conversations as possible before I can get them out. Because a lot of times you guys, if you number close girls, you're talking on the phone. I'm sure you guys have done this where you spend hours on the phone with a girl, and you guys have this deep, cool connection. Then like a week goes by, you guys are gonna finally hang out, something happens, and then you never even fucking hang out with the chick. Either she blows you off, something comes up, and it just doesn't work. I realized, I see a couple heads nodding, yeah. I realized a while ago that's a big fucking waste of time. So I'll just tell a girl on the phone, we have a conversation, it's going for a while, I go, you know what, let's just meet for a drink. I go, I don't want to waste like hours, I don't have hours and hours of time to waste. So planning a date, I'm gonna quickly go through these. I always want to try to do it this week or at the latest next week. I don't want to wait too long because that fire, it's like a burning fire of attraction, it's gonna like fizzle out. So I want to do it as fast as possible. So if I'm talking to the girl, let's say we're messaging Friday or Saturday during the day, I always try to do dates like on Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, maybe Wednesday. Those are like sooner than later, but I always try to do it on a weekday also because I don't want to convey I don't have anything going on Friday and Saturday night. I also don't want to wait that long. So I'll just try to do it like on a Sunday or Monday, just meet for a drink, just something cool and easy. And whenever I move, even when I moved back to Phoenix, I made sure the place underneath me, there's a wine bar, there's restaurants, there's all this cool stuff within walking distance, so I can do the dates there. First date, where to go, what to do, how to make her feel comfortable. I take care of all that. I'll text her the address. She doesn't necessarily know that the place is 50 feet from my house, but I'll just say, hey, there's a really cool place. We should go there. And she's like, okay, cool. Sushi place, Korean barbecue, anything where there's an activity that takes the focus off of you guys, that's always money too. But after the cool date, I go, hey, let's go hang out or something. Well, then that's where living so close comes into play. And lastly, the page is a long-term investment. Once you have it polished and working for you, it's done. You don't have to do any more work on it. Leave it up. You can tweak it, you can add more pictures, but it's just a long-term investment. Once you actually get it working, very little work with a huge gain. Girls just keep coming. Like, I just have a flow of girls from this. If I'm traveling or something, then I got girls lined up also. Split testing, you can test different angles, set up different pictures and profiles. I explained that earlier. Invisible mode, this is an option you can do on Plenty of Fish where the girls can't see you check them out. I don't like it because a lot of times I'll check a girl out, then she'll check me out, then I message her. Favoriting to me is pretty creepy. That's where you just favorite the girl and you don't message her first. Every girl I've talked to on Plenty of Fish says they hate it. And this is the brand new thing. This is the 2 brand new lines. So, shy girl. That's what I send the subject and I go, you checked me out but didn't message me, why not? Never would have taken you for the shy type. The next one, this is the shorter one. This is actually what I'm using right now. Are you one of those girls who takes forever to get ready? Enter Steve. And the subject is serious question. That's all I'm using right now. It's just that line. Just copy and paste, copy and paste. Are you one of those girls who takes forever to get ready? Testing OkCupid. Talked about that. It's okay. Not as efficient. The OG, that's a MMA off-topic forum I go to. MMA.tv is one of my favorite forums. But I'm not going to say this on camera. Once the camera's off, I'll tell you it. They set up a fake profile and made it even more over the top than mine, and girls were messaging it over and over. The headline was crazy. I haven't tested it, but you guys are more than welcome to. But I logged into this fake profile, and I saw the fucking messages. It was crazy. Traveling, I explained. When I went to London, I've done this twice now. The field report says, fuck Kino escalation. I got the girl so hot and turned on the phone and from online that we had planned it when she came to my house. I was like, yeah, I don't want to hug you hello. I don't want like our first touch to be like a kiss. I want our very first touch for my dick to be sliding into your pussy. And she was like, okay, that's hot. And I've done that twice now off Plenty of Fish. And these weren't girls that were looking for intimate encounters or saying they're looking for boyfriends or whatever. I did this in Santa Monica. Then when I went to London, the girl traveled 4 hours, bus, tube, subway, all that. Came in the hotel, hopped on bed, seconds within fucking. That's how effective this can be. I know we're getting ready to wrap up. Is there anything we need to have like 1, 2 quick questions and you guys can talk to me afterwards, or wait for the microphone?
I can speak pretty loud, for sure. I'm just curious, he said at the beginning, like, you think computers are like going to be
I
a
wrote that
dying
as a
thing.
joke. That was me being funny.
All right.
That's it. Computers are going out of fad.
I was just wondering.
Okay.
Thanks a lot.
Yeah, I'm a big nerd. I like gadgets and stuff. Question there?
I missed a lot of the lines you used. Are a lot of those on your forum as well?
Yeah, if you get the online game program, I don't like trying to sell my stuff. I really like just like you guys. If you guys think I'm good, checking out my site. I offer phone coaching. I do a little bit of personal coaching. I did something called Project X, where it was a small private boot camp where we lived in the hotel together. We all day teaching, all night in field. On Sunday, I took all the guys to the gun range and taught them how to shoot, did fashion makeovers, did cool stuff, and it was a lot less expensive than what other people charge. This is my job. This is all I do, and I'm very passionate about it. But the online game is my one package program I have. You go to my site, you can get it. It's the whole training video. There's that private section where I explain more and more stuff there. So when I'm on break or anything like that, I'm happy to explain more. I'll tell them to you again. And if you want more of it, then this is the 1.0 program. The 2.0 is all that stuff, and there's more shit there. BravoPUA.com. If you just Google Bravo PUA, Twitter, Facebook, BravoPUA.com, it's all me. We cool? All right, I'm going to be on the break. I'm hanging out. I'm heading out tonight. I'm flying out. So I'll be here. We're going to do lunch. If you guys have questions, ask me. I'm happy to help. Hope you guys enjoyed it.